Just as I was having all the monsters return to their territories, ready to face the attack of the human psychics at any time, Bartle, on the ship, released his soul power, trying to gather some information about the island through this method. After a while, he suddenly opened his eyes wide, sensing the location of Orvis' soul energy. He even felt the presence of Zhouji's soul energy, and it was also nearby on land. Lester, hearing this, hurriedly asked, "Are you talking about Zhouji of the Heavens Martial Division of Cathay? But shouldn't he be on the warship right now?" Bartle confirmed with a nod. Not only is he not on the ship, but he also landed on the island before Orvis and the others. After hearing Bartle's explanation, Lester became extremely angry, gritting his teeth. Damn, I didn't expect that kid to be the first one to land on the island. Those monsters must also be his doing. He killed Orvis and the other landers to monopolize this secret realm. But Bartle denied his speculation. If Zhouji could bypass the energy field around the island, he wouldn't have taken the warship with us. I think those monsters are the native inhabitants of the island, and it's because of the energy of the secret realm that they have developed intelligence. As the two were discussing, Jing received news that Haas and others had successfully landed elsewhere. Lester, hearing this, immediately ordered, "Let Haas and the others look for the entrance to the secret realm. If they encounter Zhouji, kill on sight." Soon after, Lester and his group also successfully landed on Abyss Island and found the place where Orvis and the others were buried. Lester waved his hand to his subordinates, and a B-grade Earth-type human psychic immediately stepped forward, using his ability, and quickly dug out Orvis and the other bodies. Looking at Orvis' corpse, Lester angrily said, "Rest assured, son, none of the monsters that hurt you will get away. I will definitely avenge you." Meanwhile, Bartle looked at the remains of the monsters on the ground and murmured, "Strange. These monsters devour beasts, but not humans, and even bury the corpses. Could it be that they are really just beast-type human psychics?" Lester, burning with rage, unleashed his lightning power and gritted his teeth. "It doesn't matter whether they are human or monster. I will tear them to pieces." Just then, Jing pointed to the sky and urgently said, "Look, sir, there's a pterosaur, and it seems to have spotted us." Upon detecting the presence of humans, the pterosaur immediately let out a screech. Soon after, more pterosaurs began making the same call. Jing suddenly felt uneasy. Are they passing messages to each other? They've really evolved. He quickly condensed ice crystals and turned them into arrows, hurling them at the pterosaurs in the sky. The arrows instantly pierced through the neck of a pterosaur, which let out a final pitiful scream before crashing to the ground. However, just as they dealt with one pterosaur, a large group of pterosaurs was seen flying towards them from a distance. The human psychics, seeing this, were all skeptical. "So many pterosaurs, they really are summoning their companions," someone exclaimed. At that moment, Lester shouted, "Perfect timing. Let them all come and meet their death. I will kill all the monsters on this island," Lester said through gritted teeth. Watching the increasingly closer swarm of pterosaurs, all the human psychics acted simultaneously, launching a fierce attack at the swarm. However, just as the human psychics' attacks were about to hit, the swarm of pterosaurs suddenly split to the sides, revealing the Deathlark hidden behind. The Deathlark flapped her wings, and the psychics' attacks were instantly reflected back. The psychics who realized this quickly put up defenses, barely blocking the rebounded attacks. "Everyone, be careful. It's that monster bird that can use wind powers," Jing shouted. At that moment, a red-haired fire-type human psychic foolishly said, "Watch me burn this ugly bird's feathers." With that, he used his fire-type ability, launching an attack at Deathlark. Instantly, a huge column of fire approached Deathlark. Deathlark swung her wings fiercely, instantly dispersing the column of fire. "Kid, you actually want to burn my precious feathers? Watch me take you down first." Deathlark was furious. Hearing Deathlark's words, Jing was shocked. This giant bird can speak. It seems like it's a beast-type human psychic. Just as Deathlark was focusing on the human's defenses, thinking about how to attack, the red-haired psychic who had provoked her acted foolishly again. He took a deep breath and once more spewed a ball of fire at Deathlark. Seeing this, Deathlark shouted, "How dare you!" Then, she used the skill Wind Blade to strike at the fireball. In an instant, the fireball was shredded by her skill, and the wind blades raced downwards. The red-haired psychic, who had jumped out of the defensive range, was instantly hit by the wind blades and was decapitated in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, Jing and the others quickly strengthened their defenses to withstand Deathlark's wind blade attack. "This monster bird's attack is so strong," someone exclaimed. As Deathlark's attack ended, she immediately turned and flew high into the sky, thinking to herself, "I'll keep these guys busy first, and when the ugly dragon and the others arrive, we'll launch a joint attack." Watching Deathlark turn and fly away, Jing immediately realized something was amiss. Not good. This monster bird is deliberately stalling for time. She's waiting for reinforcements from other monsters. Hearing this, Lester, standing behind him, trembled with rage. The next second, he burst out with intense aura, roaring, "You killed my people, and you think you can just leave? Come down here." He raised his hand, and instantly a lightning orb raced towards Deathlark. With a loud boom, Deathlark's wings were hit by the orb, turning instantly black. Then, she was paralyzed, her body rigid as it fell straight down. Seeing their boss falling, the underlings immediately panicked. Deathlark hit the ground, instantly raising a 100 meters high cloud of dust. At this time, Ancient Ape Ape, and I, who were searching nearby, heard the commotion and immediately knew something was wrong. Could it be Deathlark and her pterosaurs had encountered the psychics? Then, I quickly ran in that direction, cursing inwardly, this silly bird. Didn't I instruct her not to fight when encountering human psychics, to wait until everyone was assembled before acting? Meanwhile, Jing and the others saw the falling Deathlark, baring their teeth in excitement, shouting, "Die, ugly bird!" Then, all the psychics launched their abilities at Deathlark. Seeing this, Deathlark hurriedly swung out a whirlwind to block their attacks. Just then, the pterosaurs all dove down, hindering the human psychics. Jing and the others were shocked. This monster bird can even control a group of pterosaurs. Beast-type human psychics don't seem to have this ability. While Jing and the others were restrained by the pterosaurs, Lester had ascended in the air. He coldly said, "Since you're eager to meet your deaths, then I'll just have to obliterate you." With that, he unleashed his ability at the pterosaurs below. In the blink of an eye, the pterosaurs were paralyzed by the lightning, falling downwards. Deathlark once again experienced the shock of lightning. Just then, the ground shook with a rumbling sound. Jing quickly warned everyone, "Be careful, more monsters are coming." Countless blue spheres bounced out from the forest. Deathlark, seeing this, showed displeasure on her face. "What are Ugly Dragon and that stupid monkey up to? It took them so long to get here. Many of my feathers have already been scorched." While the human psychics in front of her were still confused, Deathlark and all her underlings moved at once, shooting the balls at the psychics. At the same time, I snapped my fingers, and instantly, the explosive bombs burst, blowing the psychics off their feet. Taking advantage of their disorientation, I accelerated out of the forest. Did you enjoy my explosive bombs? Don't rush, the best part is yet to come. I charged into the crowd, first with a dragon tail whip, disrupting the psychic's formation. Next, I whipped a chubby one into the air, and with a crack, I bit off his lower half. Then, with a flick of my head, I spat him out on the ground like spitting out phlegm. The chubby guy didn't even have time to say his last words before he was out for the count. Next, I locked my gaze on the others and instantly launched a psychic attack skill, Dragon Roar. In the blink of an eye, the psychics entered a brief stunned state, becoming lambs to the slaughter. However, this move was completely ineffective against the soul-type psychic Bartle. At that moment, he looked at me, his face full of shock. "Is this a psychic shock?" Then, he turned and shouted to everyone, "This is a psychic attack. Everyone wake up, wake up." As he was waking everyone up, there was a rustling sound from the forest again. The next second, Ancient Ape burst out of the forest, roaring, "Dare to bully Bird Sister, you all go die." She clenched her fists and slammed down on the rooster-comb man below. With a boom, Ancient Ape's fists hit the ground, instantly creating a huge crater. Afterward, Ancient Ape roared to the sky, venting her exhilaration. At the same time, I launched and burst breath at Lester. Seeing this, Jing shouted, "Be careful," as he rushed in front of Lester, instantly conjuring a crystal shield in front of him. When the burst breath touched the shield, Jing spat out a mouthful of blood. But the next second, my burst breath not only failed to break the shield, but was also reflected back, directly leveling the peak of a distant mountain. At this moment, Wolverine, who was escorting the monster group, saw my burst breath and immediately guessed we had encountered human psychics, so he turned around and sprinted in our direction. "Continue escorting these monsters back to our territory. I'm going to support Lin Shen." Meanwhile, Lester and Jing were shocked as they looked at the flattened mountain. "The power of this beam is so great. It must be at least S grade. It was this beam that destroyed the gravity missile." At the same time, I was equally shocked looking at Lester and the others. This crystal person could actually reflect my burst breath back, clearly not an ordinary psychic. So I quickly summoned the Little Kun. "Quickly scan what powers these people have." Soon, Little Kun scanned the information of these people. S-grade lightning type psychic, Lester. S-grade soul type psychic, Bartle. S-grade crystal type psychic, Jing. A-grade flying type psychic, Nana. A-grade beastman type psychic, Alec. A-grade firearms psychic, Babjo. 3 S-grade, 3 A-grade. This lineup is somewhat overpowered, so I hurriedly warned Deathlark and Ancient Ape, "These people are stronger than the previous Hester. You must be careful." Just then, Alec's body began to change. His tongue forked, and his body was wrapped in a green glow. His body then began to grow rapidly. In the next second, he turned into a lizard man. We were all surprised to see this scene. I didn't expect this guy to transform and enlarge like that. However, his appearance suddenly reminded me of the dead rotten reptile king's human face. Does it come with an innate ability to attract hate? You're really annoying me. Hearing this, the lizard man roared and charged at me, and we immediately started fighting. Ancient Ape was just about to come help when Jing appeared behind her and attacked her. At this time, Deathlark took the opportunity to attack the others, but they dodged. The flying psychic suddenly leaped in front of Deathlark. "Ugly bird, don't think you're the only one who can fly." With that, a pair of black wings sprouted from her back, and she pulled out a weapon and flew toward Deathlark. Meanwhile, the others kept a close eye on the fight between me and the lizard man. Bartle suddenly sensed something. "Lord Lester, this dragon has the spirit essence of young Master Orvis on it." Hearing this, Lester was shocked. "What? How could Orvis's spirit essence be on it? I don't know how this dragon does it, but he seems able to devour spirit essence. The spirit essence of young Master Orvis and others have been devoured by him." Hearing this, Lester's eyes reddened, and his body surged with lightning power. "He killed my son, and even devoured his soul. I'll use thunder punishment to reduce it to ashes. Meanwhile, on the other side of Abyss Island, Zhou and Mu Zhen had found the entrance to the secret realm, but it was enveloped by a purple light barrier, completely impassable. After observing the scene within the light barrier, Mu Zhen said helplessly, "It seems that only that thunder dragon can enter the barrier." Hearing this, Zhou was puzzled. Why can only he enter? Mu Zhen pointed at the green liquid inside and explained, the light barrier also contains green liquid from the dissolved dead rotten reptiles, indicating that these crawlers can freely enter and exit the barrier, since that thunder dragon has devoured the energy of the king of the dead rotten reptiles, so it should be able to enter. Hearing this, Zhou was astonished. That guy can even devour the energy of other creatures. No wonder he's so powerful. Just as the two were talking, the cave suddenly began to shake violently. Zhou looked up at the ceiling and said in shock, "Such a big commotion. It must be Lester's group fighting with the thunder dragon." Hearing this, Mu Zhen grinned and said, "Lester has hit a snag this time. Young master, since we can't enter the secret realm for the time being, shall we go out and watch the show?" At this moment, in the skies above Abyss Island, the human psychic Nana, unable to catch up with the Deathlark, threw her scimitar directly. Deathlark had just sidestepped to dodge the scimitar when Nana took this opportunity to quickly rush toward her. Deathlark hurriedly struck a whirlwind, but Nana easily dodged it. Just then, the previously dodged scimitar suddenly reversed direction and swooshed, slicing Deathlark's wing. Nana retrieved her scimitar and said with a cold laugh, "My scimitar can change its flight direction at will." After speaking, she shouted loudly and used the skilled deadly scimitars, throwing both scimitars at Deathlark. The firearm psychic below suddenly fired 2 shots at Deathlark, but his targets were not the Deathlark but Nana's scimitars. With a bang, the 2 scimitars instantly changed direction. Deathlark hadn't even reacted when her wing was slashed open again by the scimitars. Seeing this, Nana said proudly, "I said my scimitars can change direction in flight, and next I will slice off your flesh piece by piece." Meanwhile, on Ancient Ape's side, she threw a punch at Jing, but he dodged it, and he also took the opportunity to launch the skill Crystal Assassination, throwing a spear made of crystal at Ancient Ape. Just then, Arl used a psychic attack on Ancient Ape, Soul Shock. Ancient Ape immediately fell into a brief daze, the scenery around her rapidly changing. When she came to, she found herself back inside the cave, with the long-dead reptile king standing before her. Ancient Ape hadn't figured out what was happening when the king of the dead rotten reptile bit her arm. The intense pain instantly snapped Ancient Ape back to reality. Looking at the spear embedded in her arm, Ancient Ape thought to herself, was I just under an illusion? At this time, seeing that both Ancient Ape and Deathlark were in trouble, I thought, 2 against 1, 1 main attacker and 1 supporter. These human psychics not only have rich combat experience, but also very coordinated tactics. I need to find a way to break this situation. However, just as I was contemplating, the lizard man roared and charged at me. "You dare to be distracted while fighting me? You really don't take me seriously." At the same time, Lester also rushed over, shouting, "Alec, less talking. Kill him first." Lester instantly unleashed his lightning power, paralyzing me. The lizard man took the opportunity to pounce on me, but in the blink of an eye, I had recovered and mockingly looked at the lizard man. "Come on, let's see how you like being struck by lightning." Saying that, I used the Dragon Supreme Path and charged fiercely at the lizard man. Seeing this, Lester was shocked. How is it possible? My lightning only paralyzed him for a second, and he can still launch an attack under the effect of the lightning. Just as I was about to hit the lizard man, he jumped and dodged the attack, right into my trap. My dorsal fin began to gather lightning power. "You fell for it. Taste my thorn thunder spikes." After saying that, the skill activated, directly piercing the lizard man's body. Seeing this, Lester was so angry. No wonder he could resist my lightning. It turns out he also has lightning attribute skills. I then flung the lizard man away, ready to bite off his head. With a reptilian face, "I get sick just looking at you. Go die." However, just at that moment, Lester suddenly pulled out Mjolnir and smashed it hard on my head. The powerful force made me lose my balance, failing to kill the lizard man in 1 strike. "You dare to ambush me!" I roared, and then threw an uppercut at Lester. With a clang, he was blown away like a cannonball. But the next second, I was dumbfounded. Why does this guy give off a Captain America vibe? I saw that Lester now had a shield in his hand, and he arrogantly said, "Since you can also resist lightning attacks, then I'll just have to smash you with my hammer." No sooner had he spoken than he leaped up, swinging the hammer down at me. I leaned back to dodge his attack, but the next second I heard a boom. He actually smashed the hammer onto my foot, and the pain made my eyes bulge out. In a blink, a large bump swelled up on the top of my foot, and though I tried to reach to touch it, I couldn't, and tears of frustration flowed. "The mighty thunder god not fighting fair. You think you're in a game doing pedicure for a big boss?" I yelled in anger. Just then, Lester gathered strength again, and then he began wildly attacking my lower body. After a while, my legs were covered with large and small bumps, and losing my balance, I fell over. Lizard man immediately took the opportunity to put his foot right towards my face, stomping me violently. Ancient Ape hurried over to me, and Deathlark, having dodged a scimitar attack, noticed the anomaly here. "Ugly dragon, what are you playing at? How come you're getting beaten worse than I am?" After saying this, she dived towards me. Seeing this, Lester revealed a sly smile, just waiting for you guys to come closer. Then he slammed his hammer onto his shield, using the skill Thunderbolt. In an instant, Ancient Ape, Deathlark, and I were all struck by lightning, with Ancient Ape emitting black smoke and lying on the ground and Deathlark falling straight from the sky. Gold slash. Suddenly, a loud shout came from the forest, followed by a swift blade shadow rushing out. The lizard man hadn't even reacted before his neck was sliced, and he met a grisly end with his head severed from his body. All the psychics were shocked. Everyone, be careful, it's that werewolf. As soon as they finished speaking, Wolverine, carrying a large sword, suddenly burst out from the forest, jumped onto the falling lizard man, and then used his body for a boost, charged toward Lester in the air. He swung his sword at Lester, but it was blocked by the shield. At this moment, Lester was shocked internally. This werewolf's strength is so powerful. Both were sent flying by the force of the clash. Just then, I stood up with a stern face. Dare to step on my handsome face. I'll kill you all. Now that everyone was assembled, it was time to show them our tactical coordination. Ancient Ape grabbed that crystal person, and hearing my words, she reached out towards Jing. At the same time, I fired several explosive bombs at him. Seeing this, Jing hurriedly put up a shield in front of him, but the next second, I made the explosive shots detonate prematurely, blasting him away. Ancient Ape took the opportunity to grab him, and I shouted excitedly at Ancient Ape, "Hold tight, Ape sister, watch me blow him up." Just then, Jing's body suddenly burst into light. Thinking of trapping me isn't that easy. The next second, spikes grew all over his body, piercing through Ancient Ape's palm. But Ancient Ape still held on tightly, not letting go. At the same time, I quickly gathered energy, preparing to release a burst breath. Seeing this, Jing became somewhat panicked and used crystals to generate a shield. "Madman, to kill me, are you willing to sacrifice your partner's hand?" With a boom, my burst breath hit his shield directly. At this moment, Jing burst out laughing. "Stupid dragon, did you forget that my crystal shield can reflect your beam? You can't kill me." Jing laughed triumphantly. "See, ugly dragon, your beam is useless against me." However, just as his words ended, the veins on Ancient Ape's leg bulged. She roared, suddenly exerted her strength, raised her arm, and the direction of the burst breath changed. Seeing the burst breath heading towards his teammate, Jing was shocked and quickly urged Nana to dodge. But by then, it was too late for Nana to avoid it. With a loud bang, Nana instantly met her demise. Watching his teammate die tragically, Jing was furiously angry. Damn it, you actually used my crystal's effect to reflect and kill Nana." Just then, Ancient Ape suddenly released her palm and then violently slapped towards him. But at that moment, Jing had already crystallized his whole body, and his defensive power was astonishing. "Trying to crush me? Not so easy. My defense is the strongest on the surface of the earth," Jing shouted. Hearing his words, I placed my hand on Ancient Ape's palm. "Is that so? Then I want to see how many seconds your strongest on earth can last." As I spoke, Ancient Ape and I exerted force with our palms at the same time, and in an instant, Jing's body began to deform, loudly crying for help. At this moment, the other psychics were entangled by Deathlark and Wolverine, and no one could save him. The next second, with a crack, Jing's crystallized body instantly turned into powder. Seeing two more people dead, Lester and others were shocked. Even S-grade Jing is dead. How strong are these monsters? Ancient Ape and I turned to look at them. "See, killing you is as simple as swatting flies." After speaking, we charged towards the psychics. "If you offend Abyss Island, be ready to be torn apart." But just then, the gun-wielding psychic took out a strange weapon. "Lord Bartle, please help me trap them for a few seconds." Seeing the weapon in his hand, I quickly grabbed Ancient Ape. "Ape sister, be careful. That guy's weird gun in his hand seems very dangerous." As Bartle finished chanting a strange spell, in an instant, countless blue light orbs appeared around us, and chains made of runes stretched out from the orbs. Ancient Ape and I hadn't figured out what was happening when the chains controlled our bodies. Just then, Babcho fired the strange weapon into the sky a few times. "Damn beasts, taste the flavor of the gravity field." As several orbs exploded above us, gravity descended on us like an invisible net. Ancient Ape and I immediately felt our bodies become extraordinarily heavy, and the ground around us also sank. Damn it, I didn't expect humans to have not only gravity bombs, but also this kind of handheld gravity weapon. Just then, Babcho increased the intensity of the gravity. "I'm going to completely crush you. The bigger your body, the greater the gravity you endure. Do you feel like your internal organs are already ruptured?" Seeing this scene, Lester happily showed his big white teeth, then flashed to the edge of the gravity field, swinging the hammer at us. The strong gravity combined with the paralysis of lightning immediately made Ancient Ape and I collapse on the ground. Seeing us like this, Wolverine and Deathlark anxiously shouted, "Ugly dragon, stinky monkey, are you guys okay?" Knowing that we couldn't escape like this, I said to her, "That guy was right. Our bodies are huge, and the gravity we endure is stronger. I'll count to 3, and we'll transform into human form and break out." "Okay, dragon brother." When I shouted 3, Ancient Ape's body immediately glowed with golden light, and a second later, she successfully reverted to human form. At that moment, she felt that the gravity previously affecting her had completely disappeared. But when she looked up, she found me gritting my teeth, shielding her from above. "Why haven't you transformed back into human form?" she asked in confusion. While bearing the brunt of the gravity field, I gently said, "Silly girl, if we both transformed back into human form, Who would save you from the gravity field? After saying that, I condensed an explosive bomb in my mouth and fired it at Ancient Ape's back, propelling her out of the gravity field. Ancient Ape shouted worriedly, Lin Shen, Dragon Brother. Lester, seeing that Ancient Ape could transform into a human, his veins bulging with rage, exclaimed, you guys are indeed beast-type human psychics. Who gave you the audacity to kill my son? Since you want to save your companion, then you alone will bear my wrath. With that, he unleashed the skill Thunderstrike, and in an instant, the power of thunder and lightning poured down on me, the terrifying energy causing me to let out a piercing scream. Seeing me tortured, Ancient Ape worriedly shouted, Dragon Brother. The next second, she and Wolverine angrily charged at Lester. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. Then, Ancient Ape suddenly accelerated, her body transforming back into a barbaric ape form, and she punched Lester with all her might. Lester snorted coldly, easily dodging Ancient Ape's punch, then hammered her down, taunting, so it's just a brute who can only use brute force. At that moment, Wolverine quickly darted past Ancient Ape, appearing in front of Lester. He placed his blade in his mouth, and suddenly the shadow of his master appeared behind him, using Gold Slash to fiercely chop at Lester. Seeing this, Lester hurriedly used his shield to block. The force transmitted through the shield surprised Lester. The next second, with a snap, the shield was split in two. Lester screamed in agony as he fell downward. At the same time, Deathlark rushed over, just in time to catch Wolverine. Ugly Wolf, don't give him a chance. Pump up and finish him in one go. Wolverine stomped fiercely, chasing after Lester with his large sword. Just then, Bartle reached out to control Wolverine. Ancient Ape, seeing this, shouted, no good. This guy is about to unleash his chain skill again. As she charged forward, trying to interrupt Bartle's skill, Bartle extended his palm towards Ancient Ape. In an instant, several chains wrapped around Ancient Ape's legs, causing her to lose her balance and fall to the ground. Then, he also unleashed his skill on Deathlark and Wolverine, and instantly, numerous light orbs appeared around them, with chains rapidly extending from the orbs and entwining them. At this moment, they couldn't dodge at all, and in the blink of an eye, they were bound up like rice dumplings and crashed to the ground with a thunderous sound. Seeing this scene, I thought to myself, this is bad. At this rate, we might all be wiped out. That thunder god floating in the air is the most troublesome. We must deal with him first. Just then, I suddenly thought when I saved Ancient Ape earlier, the speed of my explosive bomb was not reduced. Could it be that other skills are also unaffected by the gravity field? So I tried to spit out a blue light orb, and moments later, I successfully summoned my 9 sons. See those 3 humans? Go and beat them up hard. Unexpectedly, they lined up in a row and started counting off. Seeing this, my face fell, and the next second I yelled at them, I told you to go beat up the enemy. What the hell are you doing? At that moment, one of them saluted me, reporting, Dad, we're dividing into groups to assign attack targets. Another one said, assigning tasks on the side. Group 1 attack Whitebeard. Group 2 attack Dead Fish Eyes. Group 3 attack Electric Man. Hearing this, I was speechless. You guys are really making it look official. At this time, Lester and Bartle looked bewilderedly towards us. What the hell are these? A perfectly good battlefield. Why does it suddenly feel like we've entered a kindergarten? Once my big sons had assigned their tasks, they immediately charged out. Soon, the first group arrived in front of Babcho, who was closest. Babcho shouted to remind everyone, I've seen these little guys. They're the ones who blew up Master Ovis. Saying that, he fired a shot at little Godzilla, but the bullet not only failed to harm them, but also seemed to excite them a bit, as they rushed forward with mischievous grins. Seeing this, Babcho's jaw dropped. The bullets can't hit them at all. What the heck are these things? At that moment, little Godzilla, the team leader, was the first to attack him. Babcho first perfectly ducked to avoid the attack, then jumped and did a split, successfully avoiding the second one. Just as he was twisting through the little Yanko dance to evade the third one, and there was a crack. His old back couldn't hold up anymore. Nevertheless, he was still relieved, thinking, it seems that as long as they don't touch me, they won't explode. However, the next second, he was dumbfounded. The little Godzillas he had dodged earlier had actually circled back. At the same time, a little blue hand suddenly landed on his shoulder. Old man, what are you looking at? When he turned his head and saw another little Godzilla, he was immediately scared out of his wits. Why are you here? I clearly heard you guys splitting up into groups of 3 to attack earlier. Little Godzilla explained like he was looking at an idiot. Are you dumb? We were just pretending to do that. It's called military deception. Just then, another little Godzilla glanced over and then started cursing. You damn coward. Are you trying to trick us? Didn't we agree to gang up on this Electric Man together? Hearing this, Babcho looked at little Godzilla weirdly, only to see him sheepishly say, okay, I admit it. Actually, it's mainly because you're the weakest, so I wanted to deal with you first. After saying that, his body suddenly burst out with intense light. With a loud boom, Babcho was buried right there on the spot. With Babcho's death, the gravity field also completely disappeared, and I regained my freedom. Good job, my sons. I've finally gotten rid of that damn gravity. If that pressure had continued, I would have been squashed into a pancake sooner or later. At this time, the 3 little ones who had their target stolen were exceptionally angry. Unethical thing, daring to steal our target. Since that's the case, then we'll steal theirs. With that, they charged towards Lester. Meanwhile, on Bartle's side, 3 little Godzillas were casually moving through his soul chains. Seeing this, Bartle was shocked. Soul chains can imprison both soul and body, but these things, with their vengeful spirit faces, are not souls. Could it be a bug? Damn it. No sooner had he spoken than the three little Godzillas exploded in front of him, instantly killing him. Seeing this, Lester was incredulous. Bartle was an S-grade psychic. How could he be blown up so easily? Are soul-type human psychics all this frail? With that, he unleashed his lightning power, and the little Godzilla, touched by the lightning, instantly exploded. Seeing this, Lester joyfully said, I didn't expect my lightning could defeat these ghostly things. After speaking, he blew up another one with a strike. The remaining three saw this and turned to run. This guy is too crazy. It's rare for us to come out, and I don't want to be destroyed. As they were running, Lester hit them with his thunderbolt, and with a bang the three little Godzilla exploded. Lester laughed loudly to the sky. See that? Thunder Dragon, your move is completely useless against me. But before he could finish enjoying his moment, I suddenly appeared above him, using Dragon Thorn Slash, and chopped down at him. With a boom, he was heavily smashed to the ground. As the dust slowly cleared, Lester kneeled on the ground like an old man burning coal. Bastard, it's been a long time since anyone has ever beaten me up so badly. You must pay 100 times over for this. Even if it costs me my life, I will turn you all to ashes. With that, Lester jumped into the air, his body surging with electricity. Even the broken stones rose into the air. Then, he transformed his lightning power into countless long spears, and in the blink of an eye, the lightning covered 100 meters. With a wave of his hand, countless long spears shot towards us. Damn, is this guy lashing out in his dying moments? What do we do? Dragon brother, we can't dodge this number, Ancient Ape said worriedly. Wolverine stared dumbfounded into the sky, muttering, is this the power of an S-grade? Truly terrifying. Deathlark spoke unwillingly. Are we going to die like this? I'm not ready to go. Just then, I exhaled a breath of turbid air. I can lash out at death's door too. With that, I looked up to the sky and fired countless explosive bombs. The explosive bombs met the lightning spears and instantly exploded, destroying them, but a large number of lightning spears were still shooting toward us. There's still so many of them. I can't go on. I'm going to be drained of life. I complained. A man should never admit defeat. Little Kuin, get me the life fruit. The faster the better. Everyone's about to be done for. What's the use of saving so many evolution points? Lester, I'm going all out with you. After saying that, I stuffed all the life fruits into my mouth and then went all out, frantically spitting explosive bombs into the sky. Just then, Wolverine roared, damn it, I'm going all out. He continued to swing his gold slash into the air. At the same time, Deathlark swung out her whirlwind to block. An Ancient Ape, who didn't have long-range attack skills, picked up anything she could find nearby and threw it into the air. Suddenly, the air was in chaos with explosive bombs, gold slash, mini tornadoes, and even boulders and large trees thrown by Ancient Ape. A moment later, I couldn't continue the continuous output and stopped. Fortunately, we had intercepted most of the lightning spears, and it seemed we could only endure the rest. So, I steeled my heart and stood in front of Deathlark and the others. Ugly Dragon, what are you doing? They exclaimed. I yelled at them, don't come over here. My skin is thick. I can take it. The next second, countless lightning spears instantly impaled my body. Ancient Ape and the others, seeing this, shouted my name, but as I fell backward, my body started to shrink rapidly and then unexpectedly returned to human form. Ancient Ape said in confusion, how did Dragon Brother turn back into human form? Deathlark guessed, it's likely because of severe physical exhaustion. Previously, Lord Base also had this happen. Seeing me turn into human form, Lester laughed triumphantly. You're at the end of your rope. Victory will ultimately be mine. Lester laughed. Wolverine snorted in response. What's there to be proud of? That last hit must have drained you completely. Hearing this, Lester pulled out a vial of something from nowhere. I've got life essence, and I'll be back in top form in no time. I've told you, I'll turn you into ashes. I grasped the gravity gun and suddenly stood up. Did you really think I was turned back into human form by your attack? I just thought this form would be more convenient for handling the gravity gun. Such a great weapon, I have to give it a whirl. With that, I pulled the trigger aimed at Lester. As the shell exploded above his head, Lester was pressed down from the air. Suddenly, an invisible gravity field enveloped him, and even his so-called life essence fell out of his hands onto the ground. Seeing this scene, I pulled the trigger even more frantically. This cannon is just badass. At this moment, Lester roared unwillingly, I can't accept this. I can't accept this. You despicable bastard. I'll make all of you go down with me. Speaking, his body began to emit a sizzling sound, enveloped in golden light. As the light grew brighter, Deathlark cried out in alarm, this guy is going to self-destruct. As Deathlark and the others didn't know what to do, she turned to look at me, only to see that I had already transformed back into monster form and had gathered a burst breath. Don't worry, bird sister, I won't let him get his way. With that, I fired the burst breath at Lester. At that moment, Lester, constrained by the gravity field, could not dodge. With a scream from him, my burst breath hit him directly, not only blasting his upper body to bits, but also creating a huge trench where it passed. Seeing this, Ancient Ape danced with joy. That's great, we won. While eating a life fruit to recover my strength, I cautioned them, don't celebrate too early. There's still a battleship full of human psychics on the sea. If those people are as strong as these guys, we're in trouble. Saying this, I tossed a few life fruits to them. Eat these life fruits first. recover your strength quickly. We have a lot more to deal with. Meanwhile, little Kulin had already extracted the life essence of the psychics. Okay, useless master. The life essences are ready. Time for devouring now. Looking at the 8 energy orbs floating in front of me, I asked puzzledly, Little Kulin, why are there only 8 life essence energies for 9 bodies? Little Kulin looked innocently and said, I don't know either. I didn't find the life essence energy of that Bartle. Maybe you beat him completely, both body and soul? Hearing this, I was speechless, annihilated in both form and spirit. Little Kulin, please watch less fantasy novels when you can, I said helplessly, then sighed. Anyway, let's see what new skills we can get. Saying this, I stuffed the life essence into my mouth like peanuts. You successfully devoured the life essence of an S-grade crystal-type human psychic. Scale and dorsal fin defense increased. Hearing the system prompt, I was slightly annoyed. All that effort, and this is the reward? So, I swallowed the remaining life energies in one go. You successfully devoured the life essence of an A-grade firearms-type human psychic. Evolution points increased by 280,000 times 2. You successfully devoured the life essence of an A-grade fire-type human psychic. Evolution points increased by 250,000 times 2. You successfully devoured the life essence of an A-grade winged human psychic. Evolution points increased by 290,000 times 2. Listening to the subsequent prompts all about evolution points, I felt a pang of disappointment. Why only evolution points? I thought the wing type might give me a pair of wings. How cool would that be? Just then, the system notification sounded again. You have successfully devoured the life essence of an S-grade electric-type human psychic and obtained a special reward, nuclear ion cannon. Hearing this prompt, my eyes lit up with stars. My hard work was worth it. Nuclear ion cannon launches a group of charged particles at high speed, capable of destroying anything. After devouring the life essence, I picked up the gravity gun I had used before and turned to ask, Little Kulin, what if I swallowed the gravity gun too? Would I get a gravity skill? Little Kulin said to me, speechless, you really aren't picky. Are you not afraid of indigestion? Just then, an idea suddenly flashed through my mind. Little Kulin, analyze this thing first. I just thought of a great training method. As I was thinking about how to train Ancient Ape and Deathlark in the future, just then a black mist entered the body of a dead Dimorphodon. Then, with its head drooping, it eerily stood up, and that black mist was Bartle's soul, which Little Kulin hadn't found. Lucky for me, my soul can leave my body and possess other creatures, or I'd be done for this time. Damn it, even Lester is dead. I need to hurry back and report this to the boss. Just you wait, you damn monsters. Just then, as I turned my head and saw him leaving, I shouted, your subordinate isn't very reliable, pretending to be dead until now. Deathlark immediately responded, I don't have such a subordinate. At that moment, Wolverine also felt something was off. This Dimorphodon is weird. Its neck is all twisted. It shouldn't still be alive. Could it be playing dead? Forget it. Let him go. Let's go meet our other friends first. Hey you two, how long do you plan to just watch? Stop hiding. I noticed you guys a long time ago. Just then, Mu Gen, along with Zhou Ji, walked out of the forest, all smiles. We just came to see if there was any way we could help. But still, you're amazing. You've dealt with S-grade psychics. Hearing this, I looked smug. Isn't this just basic for us guys? You didn't help those jerks, so for now, we won't treat you as enemies. However, I'm curious, why you humans? Why did you humans suddenly appear on Abyss Island? I hope you two can give a satisfactory answer. At that moment, Zhou Ji looked at me seriously. Out of respect for your friendship with Mu Gen, I will tell you everything I know. But before that, I want to make sure, are you really not human psychics? Hearing this, we were all stunned. What makes you think we are human psychics? We are genuine, born and bred monsters from Abyss Island. Hearing this, Zhou Ji asked doubtfully, but not only do you possess high intelligence, but you can also transform into human form. How do you explain that? Are you complimenting us on being smart? Abyss Island is a place of outstanding treasure. Shouldn't being smart be standard for us? Just because you can transform into monsters, does that mean we can't take on human forms? You are awakened humans with psychic abilities, and we are monsters who have awakened our own psychic abilities. Zhou Ji, hearing this, felt it made sense. From him, I learned that 200 years ago, many people on Earth suddenly awakened various superpowers and could continuously strengthen themselves through cultivation. As human psychics emerged, they were no longer satisfied with the status quo and turned their eyes to previously forbidden mystical regions. Underground in these forbidden zones, humans discovered various magical sanctuaries. These sanctuaries were not only full of energy, accelerating people's cultivation, but also contained various strange creatures and immense wealth, enough to make someone rich overnight. Therefore, psychics from all over the world began to compete for these unclaimed sanctuaries, and Abyss Island was one of the sanctuaries discovered in recent years. The outer seas of Abyss Island are constantly turbulent with dark currents and dense thunderclouds, very much fitting the criteria of a sanctuary. However, as electronic devices fail near Abyss Island, it is impossible to explore what's inside. Therefore, the North Ploanian Lester family mobilized en masse to organize this expedition to Abyss Island, even enlisting support from one of the biggest powers in North Ploania, the Nether Sin Palace. Hearing this, I pointed at the corpses on the ground, asking, is that big shot among these bodies? Zhou Ji explained, the one with electric powers is the current head of the Lester family, and the man in the black robe is an envoy from the Nether Sin Palace. If that big shot really came, this battle wouldn't have ended so simply. Hearing this, Ancient Ape, Deathlark, and I suddenly became serious. So you're saying there are even more powerful guys on the battleship? The Nether Sin Palace has one master and 6 elders, known by the 7 deadly sins. The one invited this time is one of the 6 elders, Envy, a female SS grade psychic. She wasn't originally an elder, but during an exploration of a sanctuary, she acquired a super metal material, successfully fused with it, advanced to SS class, and became one of the 6 elders. Hearing this, an image immediately formed in my mind. This person isn't the genuine King Kong Lolita, is she? Wolverine asked seriously. What is her combat style? Do you know what abilities she has? But Zhou stated, ever since she was promoted to elder, she rarely takes action, and no one really knows what her abilities are. Do you know how many psychics are left on the battleship? How many island-destroying gravity missiles are left? I asked. Zhou replied, the majority on the battleship are ordinary people, but the Lester family and the Nether Sin Palace still have quite a few A-grade and even S-grade experts. Hearing this, Deathlark looked worried. If these psychics land on the island, the consequences would be unimaginable. I'm not too worried about them landing on the island. What I fear most is that they'll find out about the deaths of Lester and Bartle, become enraged, and start bombarding the island with gravity missiles. You mentioned earlier that this island causes all electronic devices to malfunction, so why can they now land on the island using landing craft? And how can drones and missiles enter the island? I asked. Zhou admitted he didn't know why. A month ago, no matter how many drones were sent, they would be destroyed by a mysterious force, but today that force has mysteriously disappeared. Hearing this, I thought, we just eliminated the king of the dead rotten reptiles today, and the mysterious force disappeared. Could it be related to the king of the dead rotten reptiles? Zhou then explained again. Mugen and I are from the Heaven Force of Cathay. Abyss Island is very close to Cathay, and the Heaven Force discovered the island's special properties long ago. But since electronic devices cannot enter, the Heaven Force sent Mugen, using his S-grade abilities, to investigate the island. Hearing the words Cathay, I felt a surge of excitement, unexpectedly meeting compatriots from a parallel universe. No wonder there was an inexplicable sense of familiarity when I saw them. At that moment, Mugen belched and said, I've been investigating Abyss Island for over half a year, and I eventually discovered that the island's mysterious energy actually originates from the king of the dead rotten reptiles. Hearing this, I looked incredulous. You mean, by killing the king of the dead rotten reptiles, we caused the mysterious force to disappear, thus giving human psychics an opportunity? Deathlark then loudly questioned. The king of the dead rotten reptiles has always been eroding this island. How could it possibly have energy that protects the island? That's absurd. Hearing this, Mugen angrily said, although I'm old, I'm not confused. The king of the dead rotten reptiles is likely a creature from the secret realm, so it carries the secret realm energy, which just happens to interfere with electronic devices. Hearing this, I was dumbfounded. Damn it, I really am an unlucky dragon, helping to eliminate an internal threat to Abyss Island, only to end up inviting external threats. So, I resolved to first deal with the humans on the battleship, then go in search of the secret realm to see if we could release energy again to protect Abyss Island. At that moment, Wolverine suggested, while the humans are still unresponsive, we should strike first and destroy the battleship. Ancient Ape agreed. That sounds like a good plan. However, Deathlark countered, the currents around Abyss Island are treacherous, and it's covered with thunderstorms. With your swimming skills, you can't make it out, and don't expect me to fly you out. Although I can easily fly there, I'd just be a target for missiles. Hearing this, I confidently said, I was born in the deep sea, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I'm an excellent diver and swimmer. I'll dive there first to create an opportunity for you when the time comes, along with Ape's sister and brother Wolf, dropping from the sky, catching them off guard. Bald Bird, can your Dimorphodon minions fly out of the thunderclouds? Hearing this, Deathlark exploded. Stupid Wolf, watch your words. My subordinates can fly out of the thunderclouds, but they're not suited for long-distance flight. Otherwise, I would have taken them and left this godforsaken place a long time ago. Really ungrateful. I'm worried about your safety. You alone are too big a target. Having many Dimorphodons could help divert attention. Moreover, these Dimorphodons could increase my mobility, allowing me to support you from the outskirts. Listening to us discuss the battle plan, Zhou was astonished. Are monsters these days well-versed in military tactics? Mugen laughed. These guys are all cunning, especially that Thunder Dragon. He knows all sorts of tricks, both fair and foul. Hearing this, Zhou smiled wryly. It's not the strengthening of monsters that's scary, it's when monsters become educated. At this moment, the already dead pterosaur was leisurely flying towards the battleship, unaware that it had already been targeted by 2 humans. Just as the man in red felt something odd about this pterosaur, the long-haired man lifted his gun and took a precise shot at the pterosaur's head. Seeing this, the long-haired man was thrilled, not expecting to bring it down so easily. But just as the pterosaur was about to hit the water, Bartle's soul suddenly floated out, letting out a sinister laugh. How dare you to shoot at me? Then I'll take you instead, Bartle said coldly. With that, he swiftly headed towards the battleship, arriving in front of the long-haired man in the blink of an eye. The long-haired man hadn't even reacted before Bartle Bartle's soul enveloped him. He tried to scream for help but couldn't make a sound. As Bartle's soul entered the long-haired man's body, it wasn't long before the long-haired man's eyes rolled back, lifeless, and Bartle became the new master of this body. He looked at the body with disdain. The soul of a C-grade psychic really tastes terrible. After speaking, he headed towards the interior of the battleship, thinking of quickly reporting the situation on the island to Elder Envy. Meanwhile, on the battleship, the Lester family's elder, worried about Lester's safety, came to the door of Envy's room, hoping to plead with Envy to lead a team to the island to check things out. Just then, a voice came from behind. "No need to go. Everyone who landed is already dead." The elder immediately recognized this as Bartle, who had possessed someone else's body, and angrily exclaimed, "How dare you possess a member of my Lester family? So this soldier was from your Lester family. He was just a weakling, so I took him. What's done is done. Why did you come back alone? Where's the Lester family head? Where's Jing?" Hearing this, Bartle nonchalantly said, "Your family head? As you can see, they're all dead, killed by the monsters on the island." Hearing this, the elder shuddered. Our family head was a peak S-grade powerhouse, and with Jing, who had the best defense, how could such a duo be easily killed? They're all dead, so why are you still alive? Bartle sneered. How did someone with your IQ become the elder? I possessed someone else's body because I died. Don't you know that killing a soul-type psychic is harder than reaching the heavens? The elder responded angrily. I see you're just a coward. You should have died bravely with them, not cowardly possessed someone else to survive. At that moment, the usually silent doorman spoke with a stern face. Watch your words. You are speaking to an envoy from the Nether Sin Palace. He then stepped aside to let Envy through to see Bartle. As Bartle walked, he taunted, Your Lester family has suffered heavy losses this time. Even the family head has fallen. As the elder, you should first consider the situation of the Lester family. The elder was so angry that he gritted his teeth and glared at him. You bastard, I will destroy you someday. Just then, to sink the battleship far out at sea, I suggested taking the lead by diving into the deep sea to catch them off guard. But Deathlark immediately rejected my combat plan. Deathlark said it was too risky. If we want to strike unexpectedly, then we must mobilize en masse, hitting them with our strongest force. Hearing this, I was troubled. You and Ape's sister are not good swimmers, and this time we need to dive into the deep sea and approach quietly. You simply can't do it. At that moment, Deathlark suggested, Ape's sister and I can learn from Wolverine. Didn't he once hide in your mouth? As long as you keep your mouth shut all the way, we'll be fine. I remember you, and that dumb wolf used this trick against me. But don't worry, we won't mind your bad breath. Hearing this, I was immediately displeased. I floss every day. My mouth doesn't stink. I thought to myself, this woman still remembers when Wolverine and I teamed up against her. Women really are the most vengeful creatures. At that moment, Mugen spoke up. Whether your mouth smells good or not, I have a better way to help you dive into the water. I used this method to get onto Abyss Island. Hearing this, Deathlark and I both looked at Mugen eagerly. Don't beat around the bush. If you have a good method, spit it out. Mugen smiled. I can craft a watertight, pressure-resistant sphere for you, with enough air inside for you to breathe for half an hour. Hang the sphere around Lenshin's neck. It's not only decorative, but also doesn't hinder his movement. Deathlark was very satisfied with this method, while I looked at Mugen seriously. Why are you helping us? You're after the secret realm, aren't you? Hearing this, Mugen instantly became angry. Aren't we comrades in arms? This little help should be nothing. I don't have any ulterior motives. Shoji then added, we are only interested in unclaimed sanctuaries. Since you are the masters of this island, the Heaven Force of Cathay would never plunder it. Hearing this, I snorted internally. Clearly, we overpowered you, yet you make it sound so noble. At that moment, Shoji spoke again. If there is a condition, it's that you please not harm the ordinary people on the battleship. The psychics came for Abyss Island, but those ordinary people are just working for a living, for a job. Hearing him say this, I immediately countered. Let them go, so they can return with more psychics to wipe us out? Shoji quickly explained. That's not what I meant. I just hope you can spare those ordinary people. They are of low status and can't possibly convince the high and mighty psychics to come here. Besides, I have a way to make them forget about Abyss Island. Hearing this, I agreed to his request, but added, once the fighting starts, I can't be expected to hold back to spare them. Their fate will be up to them. While I was talking with Shoji, Mugen had finished making the sealed sphere and signaled to Ancient Ape and the others to get inside. Hearing this, Ancient Ape and Deathlark's bodies both emitted a golden light. In the next second, they both transformed into fair-skinned, beautiful women. They then climbed into the sealed sphere, and Mugen used his skills to seal the entrance. He then lifted the sealed sphere, signaling me to hang it around my neck. Wearing the necklace, I immediately felt like a pet with a bell. I told Wolverine to set off 10 minutes later, took Ancient Ape and Deathlark, and jumped into the sea. Meanwhile, in Envy's room, Bartle had told her everything about the island in detail. Hearing that the monsters could not only speak but also transform into humans, Envy couldn't help but ask, have those monsters become spirits? Are you sure they're not beast-type human psychics? Bartle responded, I've fought with them, and I can assure you they are not beast-type psychics in disguise. Elder, you should personally take action. Just flatten the island, and we can monopolize the secret realm on the island. Envy looked coldly at Bartle. Are you teaching me how to do my job? Hearing this, Bartle hurriedly bowed. I wouldn't dare. Please forgive me, Elder. Seeing this, Envy didn't make it difficult for him and waved him away. Just as Bartle had left the room, the space around Envy suddenly shifted, and a moment later, a woman whose body below the neck was all cylinders, with only her head visible, appeared in the room. It's all because of that useless Lester. I wanted to lie low, but now it seems I must take matters into my own hands. It's been a long time since I've appeared in this form. All those giant beasts, go die. Soon, a voice rang out across the entire battleship. Everyone leave your stations. From now on, I'm taking over this battleship. Quickly, Envy activated the supercomputer, and then she began broadcasting across the entire battleship. Everyone leave your stations. From now on, I will personally take over this battleship. Everyone leave your stations. From now on, I will personally take over this battleship. Seeing this, everyone looked worried. She's activating the supercomputer to take over the battleship. Could it be because the Lester family had died on the island? It seems like a tricky mission. Envy herself must take action now. At this moment, a bewildered strongman loudly questioned, "Why are you leaving your stations? What does it mean by a supercomputer taking over the battleship? Explain clearly." Hearing this, the operator explained, "This battleship is equipped with a supercomputer that can fully control the entire vessel. Because activating the computer consumes a great deal of energy, we usually operate it ourselves." As soon as he finished speaking, the battleship suddenly accelerated and charged forward. At the same time, radar detected a huge creature rapidly approaching the battleship. Could it be the monsters that killed the head of the Lester family? They can actually leave land, and their speed is just too outrageous. Are they coming for revenge? Just then, my burst breath hit the battleship, but it was blocked by a protective shield. The people on the battleship were shocked by this sight. Look outside. The battleship's super defense has been activated. That giant beast is attacking us. At that moment, the operator tried to calm everyone down. Don't be afraid. The battleship's protective shield can withstand attacks from SS-grade psychics. It can withstand attacks from SS-grade psychics. The people became even more nervous, and the atmosphere became heavy with the unknown threat. Meanwhile, Envy, watching the screen, was furious. That damned beast, daring to attack me proactively. Don't think I can't hit you just because you're hiding in the deep sea. With that, she activated the battleship's torpedo attack system. I didn't expect this battleship to have such a strong defense system. My burst breath's attack power is greatly reduced underwater. It seems I need to find another way to break the protective shield. Watching the torpedoes being launched, I snorted. You dare bring out this junk to show off? Then, I fired several explosive bombs, successfully intercepting all of them. Since the burst breath isn't working, then I'll change my strategy to break your turtle shell, and use Dragon Supreme Path to charge at the battleship. With a bang, the ship began to shake violently. Seeing this, the Elder quickly organized water-type psychics to prepare to attack me. At that moment, someone pointed at the protective shield and said, "It's no use, Elder. With this protective shield in the way, we can't get out." Just then, I leaped out of the water, appearing before everyone. The crew members were terrified and dumbfounded. Is that the monster? He's too big, too terrifying. While they were shocked, I swung my dorsal fin fiercely at the shield. As my back fin touched the protective shield, sparks flew, and a sound like metal clashing rang out. With a crack, several cracks appeared on the protective shield. Seeing this, the psychics panicked. This monster actually used its dorsal fin like a blade to split the protective shield. Wasn't the shield supposed to withstand SS-grade psychic attacks? Is that all? Seeing their reaction, I felt a surge of joy and thought to myself, watch me split this shell with my next strike. Then, I returned to the deep sea, accelerated again, and prepared to break the protective shield. Damn it, did you really think I'd just stand here and let you slice me? Envy sneered, and the battleship suddenly performed a swift drift, narrowly dodging my dorsal fin slash. Seeing this, I was stunned. The battleship can even drift? Who's the driver here? Just as I was caught off guard, Envy quickly fired dozens of gravity missiles at me. I was about to shoot them down when I suddenly realized they had changed direction. Seeing this, the psychics excitedly shouted, "Feint to the east, strike in the west, worthy of the super brain." Yes, just like that, flatten that damned island. Damn it, no honor in battle. They're actually going to raid my house, I exclaimed angrily. I quickly spat out explosive bombs to chase the missiles, sinking the last one or two in the blink of an eye. But the remaining missiles continued racing towards Abyss Island. I urgently deployed the Dragon's 9 Sons skill, ordering my 9 sons to catch up with the missiles and intercept them. The 9 little Godzillas, in the form of streaks of light, chased after the missiles. Seeing this, the people on the battleship were shocked. What are those creatures with ferocious dinosaur faces and sneaky appearances? Can that giant beast also launch missiles? And it looks like they have a tracking system, exclaimed the people on the battleship. During the conversation, the little Godzillas caught up with the missiles and destroyed them. But as the last missile remained, the speed of the little Godzillas clearly wasn't keeping up. Seeing this, Godzilla anxiously shouted, "Abyss Island must not be destroyed again. My sons, you must catch up." Just then, the clouds were split by a streak of golden light, and the missile was instantly split in half and exploded. It turned out to be Wolverine, who had arrived just in time riding a Dimorphodon, and behind him, dozens of Dimorphodons broke through the clouds, following closely. Seeing all the missiles destroyed, the people on the battleship couldn't believe it. It's that wolf who can use blades. He's even riding a dragon. Although he's an enemy, funny. Why do I inexplicably think he's cool? Just then, behind Wolverine, the silhouette of his master appeared, and Godzilla, under the water, also accelerated towards the surface. The next second, Wolverine used his Star Slash to strike at the battleship, while Godzilla also launched a Dragon Fin Slash at the battleship from the other side. Under the simultaneous attacks, the battleship's protective shield finally couldn't withstand it and, with a crack, shattered. The psychics on the battleship were thrown into disarray. Envy, furious at the scene, shouted, "Shameless beasts, 2 against 1. Don't think just because you've got close I can't handle you. Watch me turn you into a sieve." Saying this, she directed the battleship's guns towards the Dimorphodon group and started a furious barrage. Wolverine quickly pressed down the heads of the Dimorphodons to dive and evade, but the Dimorphodons behind him who couldn't dodge in time were hit. Wolverine, while shouting for the Dimorphodons to spread out, dove downward. At this moment, the Elder suddenly stepped forward and shouted, "Fellows, it was these monsters who killed our family head. Since they've come to us, let's unite and exterminate them," shouted the Elder. He then ordered the flying psychics to attack the Dimorphodons in the sky, water-type psychics to dive and surround Godzilla, and the lightning-type psychics to provide long-range support from the deck. Upon hearing this, the airborne psychics all took to the skies, immediately engaging in a fierce battle with the Dimorphodon group. The water-type psychics also jumped into the water, furiously throwing weapons at Godzilla, while others stood on the deck providing firepower support. Seeing this, Godzilla was furious. Attacked by so many at once, it hurts even if it doesn't kill. Saying that, he maneuvered around the attacks and charged at the psychics, knocking them over. He then snorted, "Only you guys can play dirty. Ha, I can too." With that, he removed the necklace and threw it toward the battleship. "Go, Pikachu." While the psychics were confused by this series of actions, Ancient Ape tore open the sealed sphere with her bare hands, looking at them excitedly. Then, she and Deathlark simultaneously jumped out of the sealed sphere, their bodies beginning to emit golden light. The next second, a loud phoenix cry echoed throughout the sea. Deathlark returned to her true form, and with a light wave of her wings, she instantly killed several flying psychics. At the same time, Ancient Ape landed on the deck of the battleship, and with a loud bang, her enormous stature almost capsized the ship. The psychics and the Elder on the battleship looked on in shock. Ancient Ape let out an angry roar, and before they could react, she grabbed a cannon and easily tore it down. How can monsters came out of a vine ball? Suddenly, the psychics on the deck were thrown into chaos, starting to scatter and flee. Seeing this, Godzilla was pleased, as expected of my bird sister and ape sister. At this moment, the Elder, who had regained his composure, hurriedly signaled everyone to focus their attacks on Ancient Ape on the deck. Thus, all the psychics launched their attacks towards Ancient Ape, but just then, Envy suddenly stopped them, shouting angrily, "Damn smelly monkey, stinky feet daring to step on my face. I will cripple you. Everyone, the lifeboats are ready. Get off my ship." Hearing this, the Elder and other psychics looked bewildered. "We haven't even started fighting, and she's ordering a retreat?" As the supercomputer's circuit board burned out, watching as some began to abandon ship, one displeased man grabbed one of them, angrily demanding, "What are you panicking about? We haven't lost. Why are we leaving? If you dare to leave, I'll kill you right now." But as soon as he finished speaking, the battleship's cannons turned towards him and blasted him through the body. "Those who disobey my orders die. Those who hinder the evacuation die. Those who don't leave the ship die." Seeing this, the Elder dared not object any further. He hadn't expected the supercomputer to kill their own people, so he quickly led his group to evacuate. But at that moment, Envy didn't even provide them lifeboats, ordering everyone to jump ship immediately. Having witnessed her madness, everyone dared not delay and jumped into the sea to escape. Seeing this, Godzilla and his companions were dumbfounded. What the hell? They're abandoning ship without even fighting. What exactly is going on? Just then, the battleship began to shake violently. "Smelly monkey, how long do you plan on stepping on my face?" Envy roared. As soon as she finished speaking, the battleship suddenly flipped over, tossing Ancient Ape and the ship into the water together. "How did the ship flip just now? I don't think I broke it, did I?" Godzilla said, puzzled. At that moment, Ancient Ape in the water realized the battleship was starting to move underwater, apparently trying to escape. Seeing this, Ancient Ape quickly swam under the ship, trying to push it back to the surface. But just then, the battleship began to transform, and sharp metal objects suddenly wounded Ancient Ape's arm. To avoid further injury, Ancient Ape quickly reverted to her human form, temporarily escaping danger. But at that moment, Ancient Ape found herself trapped inside the battleship. Meanwhile, a bright pink light suddenly appeared above the sea. The next second, a female version of Gundam with 2 towering peaks, a sword handle adorned with a bear charm, and fiery red hair appeared. Holy shit, so this battleship was that SS-grade metal psychic, and a female at that. Speaking of which, didn't those people keep climbing on her? Didn't that feel uncomfortable for her? At the same time, the other human psychics were excited. "I didn't expect the supercomputer to even be able to control the battleship's transformation. That's enough to give those monsters something to worry about." Hearing this, Bartle scoffed, "A bunch of idiots. Don't you get it yet? That's not some supercomputer. This battleship is Lady Envy herself. She can transform into any metal form at will." At this moment, Envy shouted at Godzilla and the others, "Husky, Big Lizard, Bald Bird, get ready to face my wrath." path. Hearing this, Deathlark immediately got angry. You hairless hunk of metal, you dare to nickname us? You're the bald one. Your whole family is bald. Just then, Godzilla realized that since Ancient Ape fell into the water, he hadn't seen her and, fearing she might be in danger, he immediately dived into the water to look for her. Thinking Godzilla was trying to escape, Envy was about to attack him when Wolverine, riding a Dimorphodon, charged at her, clashing directly with Envy. However, due to the size difference, he was knocked back instantly, but fortunately, the Dimorphodon behind him caught him in time. This woman is so strong, she completely overpowers me physically, Wolverine said through gritted teeth. Seeing Wolverine was not a match, Deathlark quickly used her skill, Wind Blade, attacking Envy from all directions. Wolverine, not to be outdone, used his gold slash on her. Envy sneered, you think these little attacks are enough? They wouldn't even tickle me. As she raised her hand, a pink protective screen appeared around her body, easily blocking their combined attack. Now it's my turn. She swung her sword and charged at Wolverine and the others. At this critical moment, a dark shadow swiftly emerged from underwater. It turned out to be Godzilla, who had returned in time and used Dragon Supreme power to ram into Envy, sending her flying several meters away. Deathlark, seeing only Godzilla had returned, quickly asked, did you find Ape's sister? Godzilla helplessly replied, I looked around and couldn't find any trace of her. Hearing this, Wolverine also became worried. We need to finish this one off quickly, then we can all look for Ancient Ape together. Envy, seeing that the sneak attack came from Lin Shen, cursed furiously, you dishonorable lizard, how dare you sneak attack me? But before she could finish, Godzilla and the others launched a new round of attacks. Envy hurriedly used her protective shield to defend. Meanwhile, Ancient Ape, trapped inside the battleship, heard the fighting outside and became anxious. What should I do? I need to go out and help Dragon Brother and the others. Saying this, she frantically attacked everywhere inside, but none of this seemed to affect Envy in the slightest. Is this all you monsters are capable of? Seems pretty weak to me. Envy sneered. Seeing the attack had no effect, Godzilla and the others stopped their assault. This woman's shield is too insane. We just can't break through. Hearing this, Envy disdainfully said, tired of fighting already? In that case, just die for me. With that, she swung her sword at Godzilla and his companions, but they easily dodged it. Then, Envy extended her palm and sneered, thought you could escape my attack by running away? Suddenly, her palm transformed into a missile launcher, and she fired dozens of missiles at Godzilla and his companions. Godzilla quickly warned everyone, these are heat-seeking missiles, be careful. After saying this, he spat out dozens of explosive bombs to intercept the missiles.